My ego is to me the great contempt of man. That is what his eyes say. That he judged himself, that was his highest moment. Do not let the sublime return to his baseness. There is no redemption for one who suffers so of himself, except a quick death. Your killing, O judges, shall be pity, and not revenge. There we go. It's pity. You have someone who's so sick and demented as to commit murder and hack the body apart and try to hide it and stuff like that. Pity him. Put them to death so they don't have to live with their thoughts. Capital punishment could be pity, huh? And as you kill, be sure that you yourselves justify life. It is not enough to make your peace with the man you kill. Your sadness shall be love of the overman. Thus you shall justify your living on. Enemy you shall say, but not villain. Sick you shall say, but not scoundrel. Fool you shall say, but not sinner. So you can call a person an enemy, you can call him sick, you can call him a fool, but you can't call him a villain, a scoundrel, or a sinner. It's just advocating euphemism here. And you, red judge, R-E-D, the color, you, red judge, if you were to tell out loud all that you have already done in thought, everyone would cry, away with this filth and this poisonous worm. But thought is one thing, and deed is another, and the image of the deed still another. The wheel of causality does not roll between them. The deed and the image of the deed. What the hell does he mean by the image of the deed? I leave it with you. An image made this pale man pale. He was equal to his deed when he did it, but he could not bear its image after it was done. Now he always saw himself as the doer of one deed. Madness I call this. The exception now became the essence for him. A chalk streak stops a hen. Is that true? A line of chalk on the floor? The stroke that he himself struck stopped his poor reason. Madness after the deed, I call this. So he did something that was fatal to his mind. Listen, O judges, there is yet another madness, and that comes before the deed. Alas, you have not crept deep enough into this soul. Thus speaks the red judge. Why did this criminal murder? He wanted to rob. But I say unto you, his soul wanted blood, not robbery. He thirsted after the bliss of the knife. His poor reason, however, did not comprehend this madness, and persuaded him, what matters blood? It asked. Don't you want to at least commit a robbery with it? To take a revenge? And he listened to his poor reason. Its speech lay upon him like lead. So he robbed when he murdered. Yet he did not want to be ashamed of his madness. He robbed when he murdered, but what he really wanted to do was commit murder. And he didn't want to be ashamed of his madness. And now the lead of his guilt lies upon him, and again his poor reason is so stiff, so paralyzed, so heavy. If only he could shake his head, then his burdens would roll off. But who could shake this head, heavy as it is, you see? What is this man? A heap of diseases, which through his spirit reach out into the world. There they want to catch their prey. What is this man? A ball of wild snakes, which rarely enjoy rest from each other, so they go forth singly and seek prey in the world. Behold this poor body, what it suffered and coveted. This poor soul interpreted for itself. It interpreted it as murderous lust and greed for the bliss of the knife. So, behold this diseased ball of wild snakes and suffering. It chose what it has. This soul was its own interpreter for these emotions. Those who become sick today are overcome by that evil which is evil today. They want to hurt with that which hurts them. But there have been other ages and another evil and good. Once doubt was evil, and the will to self. Then the sick became heretics or witches. As heretics or witches they suffered, and wanted to inflict suffering. But your ears do not want to accept this. It harms your good people, you say to me. But what matter your good people to me? Much about your good people nauseates me. And verily, it is not their evil. Indeed, I wish they had a madness of which they might perish, like this pale criminal. Verily, I wish their madness were called truth, or loyalty, or justice. But they have their virtue in order to live long, and in wretched contentment. I am a railing by the torrent. Let those who can grasp me. Your crutch, however, I am not. Thus spoke Zarathustra. Now on reading and writing. Of all that is written, I love only what a man has written with his blood. Write with blood, and you will experience that blood is spirit. It is not easily possible to understand the blood of another. I hate reading idlers. Whoever knows the reader will henceforth do nothing for the reader. Another century of readers, and the spirit itself will stink. That everyone may learn to read in the long run corrupts not only writing, but also thinking. Once the Spirit was God, then he became man, and now he even becomes rabble. Distributing the high priest-like activity of reading to the rabble and the masses. Whoever writes in blood and aphorisms does not want to be read, but to be learned by heart. In the mountains, the shortest way is from peak to peak, but for that one must have long legs. Aha! Another one of my favorite lines from Nietzsche. In the mountains, the shortest way is from peak to peak, but for that one must have long legs. Aphorisms should be peaks, and those who are addressed, tall and lofty. And I pause there for a minute. An aphorism is a floating abstraction, which if the person can't think of anything when they're hearing it, in reality, or if the person speaking it didn't mean anything when they said it, didn't have anything in mind, then it's likely the person hearing it won't get anything. That aphorism is floating. It's not useful. It certainly couldn't do you any good, except possibly some sort of bizarre inspiration, like the inspiration we're getting from some of Nietzsche's lines here. Some of them are just damn good lines, even if they are a bit nonsense and tripe. They're like poetic thought, twist of an idea that you didn't see coming. But it's no virtue to talk in these twists of ideas and stuff if none of them are applicable to reality, if you can't reduce them somehow to something relevant to you in life. So he speaks like we would want to stay floating all the time and never come down and talk about reality, never connect our generalizations and our abstractions to reality. That would be virtuous somehow. You have to walk on peaks. To walk on peaks you have to have long legs is great, but to say that you should always speak in lofty aphorisms is not so great. Aphorisms should be peaks, and those who are addressed should be tall and lofty. The air thin and pure, danger near, and the spirit full of gay sarcasm. These go well together. So the air thin and pure up on the mountain peaks, and danger near. It is dangerous to climb high on the mountains, isn't it? And this is where the lofty should be, with their high aphorisms. I want to have goblins around me, for I am courageous. Courage that puts ghosts to flight creates goblins for itself. Courage wants to laugh. So I don't believe in the abstract otherworldly nonsense of ghosts and demons and spirits, but I would like to have something in this world which would be something I could laugh at all the same. I would like to concretize your ridiculous idea of religion and the otherworldly and laugh at it here in this world. I no longer feel as you do. This cloud which I see beneath me, this blackness and gravity at which I laugh, this is your thundercloud.